By now, you've probably heard me talk about Notch Brewing. Well, they're up in Salem, Massachusetts, brewing and serving European influenced beer in their beer hall and beer garden on the Salem Harbor. And the exciting news is, in just a few weeks, Notch will be opening a second location at 525 Western Avenue in Brighton, Mass., which is just minutes outside of downtown Boston. Their new Notch location will also have a beer hall, a large beer garden, and check this out, an outdoor live performance and music space, and word has it they're already putting their schedule together for July and August. This is fabulous news, because if you've been sitting around waiting for live music, guess what? We're going to have live music. We need live music, and it's coming back, and Notch is going to bring it to you. Notch's beer is available throughout Mass and Rhode Island, and also through mail order direct from Mass and PA. People love Notch beer. If you haven't tried Notch yet, it's about time you do. Get yourself a Notch, or better yet, get up to Notch Brewing in beautiful Salem, Mass., and tell them Twisted Rico sent you. Welcome to Blowing Smoke with Twisted Rico. I'm your host, Steve Ricardo. This week we have an interview with Susan Lutin and Tracey Noel of the fantastic New Jersey Riot Girl band 50 Foot Furies. Of course, I'm extra excited to do this because I used to work with Susan many years ago when she was in the band 3.5 Girls that you've probably heard us play on the show many times. All right, so before we play you the interview, let's talk about musical trends for a minute. You never know what the next musical trend is going to be, and it looks like what started off as a cute little website for teenagers, TikTok, has now become a key spot for labels and managers to find new talent. The site Quartz said, and I quote, "TikTok has altered the contours of the music industry, from artists' paths to stardom to the power record company executives," unquote. TikTok is only 3 years old, but in the age of quote-unquote influencers, and to many in the music industry, the site has become a major spot for finding new talent. I never thought this would happen, but it has. One thing that hasn't changed about the way music is broken is that it's still mostly in the hands of the teenagers. If you win them over, you'll become famous. Elvis won him over, the Beatles won him over, the Stones won him over. And now apparently, in some people's eyes and ears, TikTok has become the new top 40 radio. And it's not just a place where kids can go and lip sync to the same tracks over and over again. TikTok is actually making artists famous. In December 2020, TikTok announced that over 176 different songs surpassed over 1 billion video views. 1 billion. And who are these artists? Claire Rosenkrantz, Nixie D'Amelio, Powfu, Priscilla Block, Ty Verdes. Like me, some of you are probably saying, who? And it doesn't matter what us old schoolers think, because if the kids get it, it's going viral. This is the world we live in. So does TikTok actually break new artists? That's the question. Or break artists in general? I'm going to refer to an article on Landr, LANDR.com, and an article by Surma, who writes, Salam Elise's debut release dates back to 2018, but it was her viral single, Mad at Disney, that broke her into the mainstream. When the single reached the top of Spotify's global viral 50 chart, it broke out of its underground bubble and landed on the platform's Today's Top Hits playlist. The song only just came out in July 2020, so we might be witnessing the early stages of a massively successful single. Then there's Tal Verdes. Surma writes, Tal Verdes is a completely independent newcomer. With his first single, Stuck in the Middle, he hit the top of the U.S. viral chart on Spotify almost out of the blue. Now he's on global. So the song still does mean something, but it's the presence. It's the song's presence on TikTok that is contributing to the viral success of these artists. This, my friends, is the musical trend of the week. Well, actually, of the last 3 years, if you want to get technical. Okay, that's a lot to digest, I know. Let's listen to a song by 50 Foot Furies before we play our interview with Susan and Tracey. It's a really fun interview, so I hope you enjoy it. This song is called My Body, and it's from the band's debut 2020 album called Miss American President.
When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is stand in front of a full-length mirror, looking at my beautiful body. I say, hey, gorgeous, you look pretty today. Pretty fucking dangerous! 1, 2, 3, 4! My body, my dream. My body, I'm queen. My body, my scream. My muffin top spilling over my tray. My body, my way. My body, my veins. My body, my ways. My blood, my heart, my walk. Hey! My body, my cellulite. My body, walks you all night. My body, my voice. My body is my choice, not yours. So I was laying on the couch with my baby, watching Golden Girl reruns, smoking some of that delicious Phil Murphy marijuana. And he said, baby, I'm hungry. I got the munchies. You want some 2 boots? I said, baby, I don't want some 2 boots. He said, how about falafel? Would you like some falafel? I said, baby, I got something for you right here. Gluten-free, no artificial colors, 100% FDA approved organic, and it's never been in a cage. But I tell you, the best part is, you know the best part is, it tastes delicious. He said, that sounds amazing. I want to put that in my mouth right now. What is it? It's my ecstasy, it's my weaponry. Feels so good to me when you feed on me. It's my weaponry, it's my ecstasy. Feels so good to me, come and be with me. My body, it's my weaponry, it's my ecstasy. Come and be with me. My body, it's my weaponry, it's my ecstasy. Come on, feed on me now.
Hello, 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 hello out there. Please welcome to the Blowing Smoke with Twisted Rico podcast, Susan Lutin and Tracey Noel from the band 50 Foot Furies. Hello, ladies.
Yes. Hello. Steve.
I have been genuinely excited about your band since day one. And then when Miss American President came out, I was all over that. You girls absolutely rock. The lyrics are great. The singing kicks ass. Stellar bass. Erin Connors delivers the goods on the guitar. I love your band. How's that for a way to start?
Oh my God, I'm a puddle. I'm a puddle on this one. Thank you, Steve. It means a lot.
I'm pretty accustomed to it. As you know, we're campaigning for Miss America presidents. We have to, we usually get all kinds of accolades and kinds of praise from the masses who want to overthrow this unjust system.
You know,
Thank you. I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
So Trace,
I feel like I should be on a balcony waving. Sorry.
so Tracy, are you like the one that came up with this whole concept, or was this like a group effort? Because I get the feeling that you probably write a lot of the lyrics, right?
Wow. So we have a really great origin story. And what happened was in Jersey City, I don't know if you know, but we have this really great concert called The Ghost of Uncle Joe's. It's put together by Tony, Rocket Docket Tony in Jersey City. And what it is in this beautiful cemetery, this beautiful historic cemetery, every Halloween they have a show where they have cover bands perform. So Lutin's played there like 7 times or something ridiculous as different bands.
Place. Did Skis in 2012. Oh wait, no. And then B-52s. Yeah. I've done it twice.
It seems to everything you do just seems multiplied to me because it's so great.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to take on the persona of that band, play 5 of their songs, 5 or 6. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no. And then so I went one year, like I went a whole bunch of years, but one year I was like, I want to do this. This is so cool. It's so fun. And so I just put an ad on Facebook, like a post on Facebook, like I want to do Bikini Kill.
Nice.
Is anybody interested in this? Right. And then this is in 2016, right? I guess like June of 2016. And so Aaron, our guitar player and our original drummer responded. I was put in touch with them and we met in the studio for the first time. I never knew them ever. We just met and decided to start like doing some covers, but we still needed a bass player. And we didn't know each other. And in the rehearsal studio, we were like, we have to get Lutin. We have to get Susan Lutin. And I knew Lutin a little bit, but like we knew who we were, but we didn't hang out or whatever. And so Lutin was away in Italy and we were like kind of harassing her on Facebook, like, will you be in this band? Will you come be in this band with us? And thankfully she said yes. And then after we did it, we had such a good time doing it. And it was right before the election of Donald Trump. And so we decided that we were going to continue writing songs and performing as Miss America President, or, like with the idea in mind, like running against Trump and like running against, I guess, basically like the capitalist system. But we all, what would happen is we would come into rehearsal and just be like, do you fucking realize, like, what the fuck is happening right now? Did you hear this today? Did you hear this today? Because I think we all got used to the fact, if we go back to 2016, if we think about that in our mind, how crazy it was that like Sean Spicer was hiding in the bushes from the press. And, every day we were like pummeled.
Yeah, we don't want to go back there.
Yeah, right. Well, now we're used to it. So we'd walk into practice and just be like, oh my God, holy shit. And then we would all like kind of collaborate together and write a song.
So you guys wrote all the lyrics? You guys all wrote the lyrics together too? Oh, that's cool.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, you come up with a chorus, or generally the premise. Sometimes we just come up with a song title, or Tracey will be like, we need to write a song called, I don't know, whatever. And then I'll just like come up with a riff. And then it just kind of flows. And we got to the point where we were bringing huge sheets of paper and pinning them up all around. We were doing like an hourly, I'm sorry, as you hear, I'm in the flight path for Newark Airport. I'm sorry, I'm trying to mute myself every time a plane, but like, every time a plane goes by, if I do it, it'd be like, anyway.
Susan, you're unmutable.
We were.
True, it's so true.
I don't know if you know this, but I know Susan, Tracey. We go way back. She once had me for a manager, if you can believe that. And she was a very good artist to manage. I love
the position's open. The position's open if you're still managing.
Oh, I don't know. You'd have to talk to
Susan.
You'd have to talk to Susan about that. If she wants me to manage her again, I would definitely consider that. But it has to be up to her.
No way, really?
Of course.
Oh, well, I mean, I thought you were a great manager, and you put up with me like I was, I don't know, 20 or something, 20.
If that.
When we met, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I started playing bass like 18 or 19, I remember. And then you and I were just talking about this, like the way I had to remind you, right, of the way we met, which was it's so embarrassing because it was like such a 19-year-old thing to do. It was I remember my sister came up to visit me from New Jersey. I was, I was in college, and I wanted to go see the Deftones were playing.
Of course you did.
Where would they have played? Would it have been like Middle East or
It could have been on Lansdowne Street.
Axis have shows?
Yeah, probably Lansdowne Street in Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, so they would have had wherever it was, they had their tour bus out back, and I was such a groupie. I was just like, and like my sister's like, well, that's their tour bus. Let's go meet them. Because she was much more outgoing than I was. I was so shy. I was like, no. And then she like knocks on their door and like they let us in. And it's just like people hanging out. And I'm like, oh my God, I love this band. And like Chino was playing like Depeche Mode or something. I'm like, I love this. And so there's this woman was there. She's maybe not much older than me, Jessica.
Yeah.
And I don't know, she and I started talking. Yeah. And she's like, oh, do you play? I was like, yeah, I play bass. I'd only been playing bass for maybe like a year and a half at that point. But, I was like, oh, I'm going to be like the Deftones one day. And she put me in touch with you because she's like, oh, I have a friend who's managing a band who happens to be looking for a bass player.
Yeah, it was really. I remember going over to Tufts University and going into the dorm. They're like, "Who is this guy coming into our dorm?"
Oh, you came to visit me there.
Yeah, I talked to you at your dorm a few times, and then, everyone in that band was young, and most of them were really easy to get along with. But we had a nice run. Though.
Oh man,
that was fun. But yeah, so I mean,
I was really immature. I mean, I don't know how you put up with all of us, all of our bullshit.
I had to learn how to be a manager because that was the first band I ever managed. I was working at A&M Records still, and when I left A&M, this was the first band. Since then, I learned how to be a better manager, but at the beginning, I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. But we somehow managed
I thought you were the greatest.
Well, we took the city by storm.
Well, because I went to your, I remember going to your office at A&M. I remember that. And then you handed me this pile of CDs and like Face to Face. And I remember them because you gave me a hoodie. And I was like, dude, having a manager rules. And then, because I was just like a kid. I was really just immature, thought I knew everything. And then, we went from there. And
you were great, though, Susan.
You did great things with us.
Yeah, you did. You were awesome. You were awesome. So, 50-foot Furies.
Also, I wanted to let you know that now we do know everything. So we'd be like incredibly easy to manage.
Oh, we're much better.
We'll have to have that conversation at a separate time. And believe me, with the way I'm going to talk to you about the Lindas in a minute, because I think the whole Riot Girl thing is having such a resurgence right now that I think it's like now, you don't mind being called Riot Girl, right?
We're Riot Ladies.
Riot women of a certain age.
Riot ladies. Is that what Kathleen Hanna calls herself, a riot lady?
Oh my God. I hope she does. I hope she probably doesn't, but like I call her queen. Like we somehow got tickets to see them in Brooklyn. And it was just like going back to the motherland. It was so cool. It was so cool because when they came out, I think it was like 18 or 19. And the first time I remember my friend like turned me on to them and I was like, I didn't know you could talk about stuff like this. Like, holy shit, this is amazing. And how much Bikini Kill really impacted me and gave me like a space to speak and gave me like validation for my ideas and who I was as a person. I wasn't even like a singer at this time. I wasn't even like an artist. I was just a human being, like teenager walking around. So I would call Hannah like, I think I would call her queen, like I would call her mom, like, or not even mom, but like, something to like, because at that time, I feel like it's even difficult now to be a woman and say something protective of women or, defending the right to be considered a human being. But back then it wasn't and they were so young. They were so courageous.
They don't get enough credit, actually, for the resurgence of punk in the 90s, because I think it was around 92, maybe, that they came out around that time. And they don't really get enough credit for it, but they really brought punk back. I mean, if you watch some of those old videos of them performing, they were like... It was sloppy as fuck, but you know what? That's what punk rock is. That's one of the things I really loved about them, Let me ask you a question.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys started to get a lot of momentum going before the pandemic? How much did that screw you up?
No, so much. I mean, yeah, it was, we haven't been in the same room, all four of us. Well, we, our new drummer, Felipe, our original drummer, we parted ways, but we haven't, right, Tracey? We have not been in the same room all together.
We haven't.
The studio, or maybe
no, since November. So we had two outside shows, for October, November. But we all took the pandemic really seriously. So between December and then. Between December and now, we didn't meet. We met a couple times on Zoom, but we haven't practiced. We haven't rehearsed. We're working right now to get together for video for My Body and make it like the summertime anthem that it should be. So everybody, we've all been inside, right? We've all been inside. We've all got our COVID bodies working. And maybe, we put on some extra pounds and maybe we're a little looser where we
Who
used
did
to
it?
be a little tighter. Yeah. So we want everybody to go out and go outside and be in their bathing suits and just be loving on themselves. You know what I mean? We want everybody to still feel like you don't need to go through some kind of impossible, weight loss diet kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's anytime in human history, you don't have to do that.
Anytime.
But especially now,
pandemic.
Yeah, not just when there's a pandemic, you should just always feel good.
Love your quarantine body. Love your body.
Yeah, we want the summer of
quarantine times.
We want the summer of '69 to hit this summer. Where do you guys see? Where do you guys see this all headed? Because we had the pandemic, we had Trump, and then we have the massive protests against inequality, and all that happened. Where do you see it all heading now? Do you feel good about the future?
Well, I honestly feel, in my opinion, this, I'm not speaking for the 50-foot Furies because we haven't sat down, but in my opinion, I feel like if it wasn't for Trump, Biden would be the worst. He's so old. You're going to depart this earth soon. You won't forgive student debt. You know what I mean? People are just the conditions that we're living in. You know what I mean? I lived on $15 an hour. And that has to be subsidized by credit cards and your parents. You know what I mean? So the idea that you have this golden opportunity to kind of get rid of student debt and give everybody, we don't have fucking healthcare in a fucking pandemic. And it's inexcusable. It's fucking inexcusable. It's fucking inexcusable that voting laws haven't been passed, that those motherfuckers who took over the White House on January 6th are in fucking prison. You can find a black person smoking pot walking down the street any fucking day of the week and throw them in jail for years and years and years. And the FBI, with all their funding and all their technology, can't locate these fucking assholes who planned this coup attempt online. Are you fucking kidding me? So I feel like it's up to us. You know what I'm saying?
I'm voting for you. I'm going to write you in. I'm writing you in the next
Miss America
election.
President.
I don't care if you run against Cory Booker.
That's why we came up with Miss America President, so you didn't have to write all four of our names in. All four of us are under this. We are one candidate. We have our platform. We have our planks of our. Is that what they call it? You put planks is what your our platform would be. No free college. Pass the For the People Act.
Whatever you say, Susan. Whatever you say, Susan. You're the Tufts University graduate, so whatever you say, I believe.
Yeah, and so you can be one of our first dudes.
I can be one of your first
you can
dudes.
Be one of the first dudes.
Hey, I'm a riot girl. I always say I'm a lesbian in a man's body, but so I can be a riot lady. Sorry, I can be a riot lady.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Perfect.
So
Right, we got to leave the Riot Girls up to the Lindas. Like they're totally handling it.
wow, can you
This will be our
actually see
first
my
day.
can you actually see my computer screen? Because the next thing I was going to say was, so last week on my show, I talked about the Lindas, and I'm dying to hear your thoughts because I think this band is the coolest thing that has come along in so long. It's like so exciting. What do you ladies feel about that?
Oh, I love them. I want that EP that they put out on vinyl. It is so good. And then the live version of the Racist Sexist Boy is just so, it's such a great jam. And it's like so, I mean, the fact that they're so young, I mean, it makes me sad that they have to write a song called Racist Sexist Boy or Sexist Racist Boy. You know, it makes me mad, but I'm just freaking glad that they are doing it, and that's helping them, and it's helping so many other people and me. I'm like, you know, a woman of a certain age, and I'm like, I want to. Yeah, we were just talking about how we want, you know, we're like they need some chaperones maybe on tour, some like
Tracey,
like we're
I don't
here.
know.
We are available.
I haven't met Tracey in person,
them.
but Tracey the chaperone, I can only imagine what that would be like. But I would take Tracey as my chaperone.
I feel like I would need a chaperone for me chaperoning.
Of course.
I mean, I would roadie for them. Maybe they'd let us on stage and play a song with them. But like, it's
right.
The harmonies. I mean, it sounds so good. Like they're so good, and it's really exciting. And I'm just like, you know, like you hear the origin of that song from the girl and how she was like, you know, she had racist things.
The 10-year-old, right? She's so only 10.
Oh my God. It's like, you know, it just makes me want to kind of like scream, like throw myself down the elevator shaft. But I'm like, oh, but this is how, like, it's so empowering that they've taken it and made freaking like kick-ass music. And they're just like, I'm really excited to see where they go. Cause I think like this is, of course, just the beginning. I mean, and they're just going to, you know, if they're going to go on tour with Bikini Kill, I mean, I think I don't know if that's going to happen, but I know they've been signed. And
Epitaph.
We have to open for them like somewhere, like maybe it's like a local gig or something. But we after that came out, I was like, they were in Moxie, which I didn't watch right away because I guess I was like kind of jealous. Like I was like, oh, you know, because that's what we did. Like when we were 19, like we made zines and stuff. And I was like, who's Amy Poehler to make this movie? And then we watched the movie and I was like, oh my God, this is so great. Like me and my boyfriend loved it. We were like, this is, not only was it a great movie to watch, like even as adults, but I was like, when I grew up, like when I was that age, we had like Scott Baio movies with like women with like really big boobs. Like I can't even remember the names of them, but they were always like, you know, I don't know. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Those weird Scott Baio movies where there was always just women with like size, I don't know, double F boobs, like, and just kind of crazy. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you remember? I know we've all put Scott Baio out of our consciousness, but he was in these like crazy movies that totally like objectified women and just where I feel like the movie.
And say I was never a fan of him anyway, but
oh my God.
You know, Susan, I'm kind of.
I haven't seen Moxie yet, but I did listen to their version of Rebel Girl, and it's awesome. I know. I'm really. I feel like I will love it because. Yeah, I know. I was kind of like Amy Poehler, like she's great, she's hilarious, but I'm like, she just wanted to like, you know, cosplay as a punk rocker or whatever. You know, she wasn't really. But
I feel like it was so great that they did this movie.
Me too.
Like it was really, and did you see it?
No, I haven't, but I know the whole story. I actually watched.
Yeah, you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, I've done a lot of research on them, and like I talked about them at length last week, and I watched the Library full show about 3 times, and I was just like, this is like unbelievable. These girls are so cool. I mean, it just made me so happy because they're Asian and Latinx and, you know, they're LA and it's just so important. I mean, the whole thing to me is so important. And I didn't know that they had opened for Bikini Kill a few years earlier. And then when I heard Amy Poehler was at the show and she saw them and I was like, this is incredible. Where have I been? I felt like I didn't know that. I was behind the ball in the whole thing, but now I'm like on top of it. I'm like so into it. I want to see it succeed. My friends that were on on the show, also Bait Bag from Maine, you two bands have to play together. I'm already telling them that and telling you that because I think you guys together, it would be incredible. They had the same reaction that you're having right now. So it's probably every band in your genre is watching this and going, oh my God, this is like the greatest thing to happen in so long. The timing, you know?
Also, the fact that they're playing at a library. Like, libraries are the most punk rock thing. I love libraries. I love the library, and I love that they're playing a punk rock show there. That's so punk rock.
Gee,
they're not in a club, they're not in a bar, like.
You know, Tracey, you
you
have a huge fan on the other end of the line right now, me. And I love Susan. I've loved her for years. But you have, like, won me over. I think you should be a librarian, actually. You would be the world's coolest librarian.
Oh, my God. I would love to be a librarian. I think when we talk about, we were just talking about how I think we keep going through these cycles in this country because we just, like, I'm really great at articulating what I hate. But if you ask me to imagine like a new world, I'm like, oh, I don't put that much energy into like envisioning a new society. And so we were thinking about it and I'm like, maybe instead of defund the cops, we should be like more public libraries. Not that I want to take money away from the police, but like, where do we put it? You know what I mean? So like, yeah, libraries are the best, man. Libraries are so great and they're so underfunded and the library right by my house got me through the pandemic. Like I would just kind of go there and be like, here's my list of books send them a list and they'd be like, we don't have that, but here's like 20 other things.
50-Foot Furies needs to do a library gig. People will say that you're copycats, but who cares? I mean, I think
who cares? It would be awesome. I'll proudly copy them.
Copycats. Oh, come on. I mean,
you're an original, Susan. Don't take that the wrong way. I know you're an original. Susan was like so hip when she was like 18 or whenever it was that I met her. She like knew about every fucking band, you know? I mean, she saved 3.5 girls. I mean, if she didn't come in the band, who knows what the hell would have happened. So you're an original, Susan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Steve. So are you.
I was even a box.
She's her own music library.
Yeah, you know, I used to go to Boxcar Betty gigs, okay? So, you know, I don't know if you know about them, Tracey.
Tracey doesn't even know. She doesn't even know that was about Boxcar Betty. Yeah, that was, I guess that was the band I did after.
Yes, after 3.5, before Heidi. Yeah, I forgot. Oh, I'm sorry that I forgot that you were signed to Warner Brothers with Heidi. I didn't mention that, which is pretty amazing. I read all your chronicles that you put online, and I was like, holy shit. I mean, that story you hear too many times. A band gets signed, and then they get buried in the whole fucking pile of major label rubbish, which unfortunately I worked for a major label for 7 years, but we didn't do that to bands that I didn't do it to any bands. But, you know, I know what happened to you was very sucky.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was along for the ride because I joined Heidi, oh God, I don't know, 1999. I remember they approached me and I think I turned them down because I was like, you know what, because after like Boxcar, it was 3.5 girls and then I was in another band and then Boxcar Betty fell apart and I was like, you know, I got like bands, you have to rely on people. You have to like rely on other people and like they can let you down. And I was like, you know, I got to go back to school and get like, you know, just get a career or something. And I was like, no, I'm going back to school. I'm going to go to whatever.
Yeah, meanwhile, you've been in bands your whole life. That's what I love about you. Alvin Long.
I know.
Alvin Long from Curve of the Earth Records, the label that Susan was signed to here, Tracey. Him and I always talk about Susan. We're enamored with the fact that she has been doing this for so long, nonstop. It's just fantastic.
Well, it's so lucrative, Steve. You know, I mean,
we're not doing it for the money, Susan. Come on.
I know. I'm like, we are definitely not doing it for the money. It's like just something I have to do. I have to be in a band with people making music, even though I was like, I don't like. something bad, a band falls apart, and you're like, I never want to see another musician again. Like, they're just so flaky. But I'm glad I did join Heidi, and I think I joined, and then maybe 24 hours later had my first show with them. And I remember I'd gotten like I was riding my bike in Harvard Square, and I got doored. I remember almost got run over, and I broke my finger, and I had to play that show. I do remember that.
I remember that.
Splint.
Wow.
And I met Janet, because I think Janet, the guitar player, like, she was the one who approached me. And I remember we had to meet up, and she had to hand me like the CD so I could like learn it, so I could play a show later that week. And I did. And then, it was just so fun. Oh my God, just being in an all-girl band was like, back then was so great. And that's why I love 50 Foot Furies, that we were able to do it again. I was like, felt so lucky to find like women my age who were, 2016, like, who wanted to do this and had the same like sort of just vision. And I felt so lucky. So that I got to do that twice in my life, do the all-girl band. Unfortunately, our female drummer had a lot going on. She departed. So we are technically no longer all female, because we have Felipe, who is amazing.
Yeah, he plays on the record.
He
plays on the record, right?
He plays on the record. Oh my God, yeah, he's just amazing. He cranked that out, 10 songs on that record, right? I think, right, Tracey, is it 10 songs?
Yeah.
Record? Did one day. He did all, like, so we did bass and drums in like just one day, 10 songs. It's like a kind of, I don't know, it's very hard for a drummer to do, because multiple takes. He also played Felipe. I got him into 50 Foot Furies because he's also the drummer of my other
the Black
band,
Whale.
Black Whale. Yeah, WAIL, and that's and which is like a stoner metal band that I've been in.
I know. We know about the Black Whale. We know all about the Black Whale.
So yeah, Felipe is the drummer for that, and Felipe actually was. So he unfortunately he drummed for the Monkees. He was there touring.
What?
Then he went, and he was touring with Davy Jones, and who I believe unfortunately passed away. Then he was also the drummer for David Cassidy, who also passed away.
Wow.
And he was also the drummer for World Inferno Friendship Society, which is just an amazing band that's been together for years. There's so many great albums. They're so fun live. And then tragically, like, it's awful. Their lead singer passed away recently. So it's like
the Monkees reference was so timely. I heard Steppin' Stone on my way here this morning, and I was thinking there's so many versions of it, but the Monkees version's the best version of Steppin' Stone, without a doubt.
I agree.
Oh my God, it's so punk rock.
It's excellent.
It's really punk rock.
Yeah, Mickey Dolenz, man, he rocks. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah, I love the Monkees, man. The Monkees are awesome.
Yeah, they're like
big influence.
They never get enough credit. I know, I know they weren't a real. Well, I don't know.
I know they weren't a real. They're so gimmicky, and their show was hilarious. And I just watched it with my sister. Like, I never missed an episode.
Yeah, I grew up on the Monkees. So let me ask you a question. Miss American President came out. It was in the middle of 2020 or 2019, or I can't remember the exact date. But you didn't really get to promote it. So now you go. You did a good job promoting it, but the pandemic came. Are you just going to pick up where you left off and try and get that record going again, or are you thinking about making a new record?
So we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into the rehearsal space together again and start working on some new stuff. But also, I think we're going to really try to promote the record this summer. So we're looking to like get some gigs together, get outside, but honestly, like, I feel like I need to get together with Susan and Aaron. Like, we need to get in a room together, because I've gone from, for me personally, like, I've gone from like every day, like running and doing vocal exercises and rehearsing once a week at least, with the band and whatever, to like nothing. So I don't even know, like, I gotta get my chops back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. For me, that's what I need to do. So I think once we get together and once we can pick up that pace where we would come in, we would basically come in like one week, Erin was away. She used to travel a lot for work. And one week we were just in the studio, me, Jonna, and Lutin, and I was like, do you guys ever feel like you have your period and you don't have your period? And we just pulled together Ghost Menses. Like we pulled together that concept, you know, like really quick. So we need to be together again and start talking. I think it comes from the dialogue of like what's going on and how we want to articulate it and what's fun and what is, you know, we don't do the, you know, it's not like we're like Rage Against the Machine. You know what I mean? Where it's like very serious. You know, we try to like, we are serious. Like Charlottesville is very serious.
Ghost Menses is very serious. Tracey,
it is.
Be like,
I do not want to make light of thinking of the terror of what it is to think that you have your period.
You're in a meeting, you know, you're trying to make a good impression. You feel something. You're like, oh no. Uh-oh. I'm wearing white pants. You know, no, it's very serious.
Exactly. Can I wear white pants? Will I get Ghost Menses? It's too much. It's too much to bear.
Wow, this is too much for me to.
I think we have like a very particular like humor to it, right?
This is too much for me to bear. I feel like I better not say anything right now because I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Wise, that's wise.
But before I let you go, I got to ask you something else. Are you guys like listening to any other new bands besides the Lindas? Like when I say new bands, like in the last 5 years, has there been any bands that you've heard lately or recently that you like, that you listening to, or what are you listening to?
No, I'm just so glad you said the last 5 years because I was thinking, yeah, I listened to the Lindas. I love their EP, but I'm like, what new? You know, I like Doja Cat. I'm like, what new stuff am I listening to? I don't know. I do WFMU down here
Great
every
station.
What?
Great station. Yeah.
Great station. So every Sunday they have the reggae schoolroom, and I listen to that every Sunday, and I Shazam the shit out of that show. And I do just go, so I do like I'm constantly like just Shazamming, and like I'm like I love the song and adding that to playlists. But, you know, I'm listening to a lot of old stuff, you know, like
that's okay.
I've been on a Kristen Hirsch kick lately.
I love Kristen Hirsch.
I know, yeah, that Hips and Makers album. I've been
love it.
Trying to find it on vinyl. I can't, but I think maybe after your interview with Calabrina, who is awesome, and she was her movie you said didn't Kristen Hirsch do the soundtrack?
Christian did the music. And I was like, Calabrina will love getting a mention on my show. I love her.
Yeah, I was like, that's perfect and amazing. And I'm like, you know what? I have to now go back to my Kristen Hirsch records. But anyway, what about you, Tracey?
So I just want to piggyback real quick on FMU and what like a amazing resource that is. Like FMU is just it's. But
one of the best stations in the country. You know.
Yeah. And then, so everything I listen to, that's a really good idea, Lutin, to do the Shazam. I feel like between Spotify and FMU, like I don't know any words to anything. I need to start listening to more podcasts where they talk about the music and they talk about the artists and stuff, because that's something I remember like when records, right. When records came out, I would like sit down with them and, just sit and listen to the whole record and look at the album cover and look at all the credits and look, you know, and read Circus Magazine and find out everything about the band. And unfortunately, it's like a casualty of technology where I'm like, you know, I've lost it. But there's two bands that I want to point out that in the last 5 years, I would say, one is Mutoid Man, which is like a big, I feel like that has Boston roots. I feel like you knew Lutin, even though I knew everybody from here. Yeah. And Nick used to play bass. I think he just recently left. But Ben Kroller, who's also the drummer of Converge, like that band is amazing. So Mutoid Man was a big thing in Brooklyn because Nick worked at St. Vitus, and the shows would just be really wild. Like they were just phenomenal. And then the other artist I want to mention who is amazing, who I'm looking right now because I want to make sure. I also feel like this year, because of the quarantine, I have like I don't remember anything before Wednesday, and every day is Wednesday. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, what? But she is she's a musician.
Is this a guessing
give
game?
me 1 second.
Ash.
Oh, Janelle Monáe. Janelle Monáe.
Oh, okay.
She is fucking
Oh,
fierce, like just fucking fierce. That woman is incredible, and I'm always
watch the video for, I think it's Many Moons. Maybe she's like James Brown. I mean, she's just got such charisma, and that song Wonderland. Oh yeah, she's amazing.
That album to me, like I feel like it's like it's. Oh, I just put it on real quick. It's
Don't
it's
play it
beyond.
too loud.
You know
I
what
don't
I mean?
want
Like,
a
I would love to.
copyright infringement.
Oh yeah,
right. I feel like it is something that her who she is and her music is the depth and the richness and the texture and the meaning. It's like, wow. It's always such like an experience. Like, holy cow.
I just love your overall enthusiasm about everything, Tracey. You must be fun to hang out with.
She is. Oh my God. So lucky to know her.
So listen, everyone out there, make sure you check out 50 Foot Furies Bandcamp page. It's awesome. And, I'm on there all the time. I have all the songs now anyways, but, it's like I can't wait till I go on there and there's new songs. But if you're out there listening, you haven't heard the band, you've got to go and check them out. Thank you so much, Susan and Tracey, for coming on the show. I'm sorry it took us so long to get it going, but once we got it going, you guys got it going. So I really appreciate you being here.
Dude, thank you so much. This has been like such a great way to start off the day. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and let's definitely get in touch and talk soon because I want you guys to come to Boston. We're going to figure out how to get you up here.
Okay.
Yes.
The return of Susan Lutin. There'll be banners in the streets and parades, and she'll get the key to the city of Somerville or Medford or maybe both.
I insist.
Yeah, get us some chaperones
in my
too.
Rider. In my rider.
Thanks a lot, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was great.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, that was an absolute riot. No pun intended. I've known Susan for a long time, but that was the first time I ever talked to Tracey. She's a hoot, man. I'm telling you, that girl knows her shit when it comes to politics, when it comes to life, when it comes to everything, And Susan, too. This is a smart band, and I like smart bands. So I'm doing something a little different here. I'm going to talk about some new music I've been listening to lately that I want to tell you about. And there's a few artists that you may or may not have heard of that I think are cool. Beach Bunny from Chicago, Illinois. They have a new album called Honeymoon, and it features a track called Cloud 9, which is blowing up right now. It features Tegan and Sarah on background vocals. It's a really cool song from a really cool band, Beach Bunny. Then there's Pale Waves from Manchester, England, who just released Who Am I in February on Interscope. Love that band. Francis Forever is a band that formed right across from the Charles River, where we are, at the Berklee School of Music. They got signed to Mom and Pop Records, which is a really cool label run by Michael Goldstone, who incidentally signed Pearl Jam many years ago. I knew Michael from Mother Love Bone, who we also signed, and he's got really good taste, and he nailed it with that signing. Then there's Stand Atlantic, a really cool poppy punk band from Australia. A lot of great bands come from Australia. They have a new record called Pink Elephant, and I highly suggest you check that out. And last but not least, my friend Jeff Palmer, who was on the show not too long ago, has a new single out called Many More Drugs. It's really cool. You can find it on Bandcamp, and I highly recommend it. Before I go, I want to tell you about Notch Beer one more time because we're really excited about their new location that's opening in Brighton at 525 Western Ave. It's going to have outdoor music in their new venue starting in July and August. While you're waiting for that place to open, you can head up to Salem, check them out on Derby Street, right in the harbor, or the harbor. I think I said that like a Boston guy, where they serve that outstanding European influenced beer in their beer hall and beer garden. You can buy their beer at retail locations in Masson, Rhode Island, and also through mail order in Masson, PA. Having lived in Pittsburgh, like I mentioned last week, they love their beer out there. I'm sure there's people drinking a lot of Notch. If not, Get that notch now. All right. So I also want to give a shout out to Baby Loves Tacos, who are also in Pittsburgh. And there are two outstanding locations in Bloomfield and Millvale. And the reason I'm shouting out to them, the place where everybody eats, is because if all goes well, yours truly plans on heading out to Pittsburgh. And, I might even reunite with my old engineer, G, and record a show in Pittsburgh, just like we recorded the first 7 shows. So I'm really excited about doing that, and that might be happening soon. All right. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to support the Blowing Smoke with Twisted Rico podcast, we have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Twisted Rico. You can write me at twistedrico@gmail. We have an Instagram page at Blowing Smoke with TR. We're on Facebook, Twitter. There's a YouTube page. We got a bunch of new subscribers lately. Check that out. There's some cool videos on there that you can't hear on Spotify or Apple, wherever you're listening. So check that out. Thank you very much to Mike Nash here at Voice Motel in Somerville, Massachusetts, for engineering the show. He also engineers another show that I'm on, if you want to check it out. It's called Seems to Me. I do that with Sibylline Seriano, who has a great art gallery that just opened in downtown Boston in the South End called the Sibylline Art Gallery. I highly recommend it. And you can hear that show just like you can hear this one on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, Google, Podtail, Breaker, etc., YouTube. And that's it. What a show. Till the next time we say goodbye, this is Blowing Smoke with Twisted Rico. I'm your host, Steve Ricardo. Keep the rock and roll alive, and we love you, Busy Phillips.